people here tonight. This is actually our last class for the season until the autumn. And so for some of you may not have been here before for this class. So what we do here tonight is meditation. And we'll do, for the first part of the session, we do meditation on the breath, mindfulness meditation, trying to develop a more calm, clear, focused state of mind. And then we'll have a break. And in the second part of the evening, we do another meditation. We do a different one every week. Tonight we'll do a visualization practice of the Buddha of Compassion, Avalokiteshvara. So I'll explain that practice, and then we'll do it together. And then I usually start also with a body scan, a short, brief body scan practice, which means going through the body with our awareness and trying to notice whatever sensations we have as we go down through the body. And this is helpful for various reasons. One is it helps to bring our attention inside of us, because so much of the time, much of the day, our attention is going outside of us. Like there's just so much happening around us all the time. So our attention is out there. When we meditate, we're trying to be more aware, more attentive to our own mind, our own experiences. But that it can be hard to make that kind of switch from outer to inner. So doing the body scan can help us to start to bring our mind more within ourselves. And it also, I find, a very helpful way to relax and calm down, because sometimes there may be tension in our body, like things happen during the day, and we might have tension stored in our body, and sometimes we're not even aware of it. So doing the body scan can kind of help us notice if there is tension in the body and release the tension, relax the tension. And that helps us to be more relaxed. And being more relaxed is helpful in meditation. So let's start with, before we even do the body scan, let's start with setting our motivation, our intention, our reason for being here tonight. So what we're doing here are meditations that come from the Buddha. And when the Buddha taught, he did so with a motivation of wanting to help others, all beings, in fact. It said that the Buddha has universal and unconditional love and compassion for all living beings, for everyone, every single living being, not excluding anyone. And so that was his reason, that was his motivation for teaching. He wanted to help everybody. He wanted to help us to be free of suffering and pain and problems, both physical and also mental, emotional, psychological problems, and to achieve real peace and happiness, which he himself had achieved. So he found this wonderful state of enlightenment, awakening, and realized that everybody had the ability to reach that state. Everybody can become enlightened. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to show us how we could become enlightened. And that means free of all suffering and problems and fully developed in everything that's good, everything that's wholesome and positive and beneficial. So the Buddha taught with that motivation of wanting to help others. And it just makes sense that when we learn about the Buddha's teachings and try to put them into practice, like meditate on them, it's good if we can try to have that same motivation, or at least something close to that in our own minds. So that means it's good if we can try to have an open mind, an open heart to others, and feel the wish to benefit them. And one relatively easy way of generating such an attitude is to just think about how we ourselves want happiness and we don't want to suffer. Nobody likes suffering or pain. So that's true for ourselves, but it's also true for everyone else. It's just kind of common sense. It's something sort of obvious that we can see that nobody wants to suffer, nobody wants to be unhappy. And instead, what people want is to be happy. So if we can contemplate that and understand that, and then go a step further and think how nice it would be if everybody could be happy and free of suffering and problems. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? Everybody, everyone in the world, every living being could have peace and happiness and freedom from suffering. So if that makes sense to you, if that's something you feel comfortable about, then the next step would be to wish that what we're doing here tonight, the meditations that we're doing, the discussion that we're doing, may this contribute to that. May it be a contribution to the happiness, the peace, the freedom from suffering of ourselves and of others, of all living beings. And even if you might feel, well, this isn't completely true for me. This isn't really how I feel. This seems kind of artificial or phony. Don't worry about that. It's normal that we all have difficult feelings when it comes to other people. It's difficult to feel real love and compassion for everybody. There are people we don't like, people we are angry at, and so on. That's normal. But we can change our mind gradually. We can make our mind more familiar with good feelings, positive feelings towards others. And we can defamiliarize our minds with negative feelings towards others. So we can work on our minds and increase our positive feelings and decrease our negative ones. So even if right now we don't really have perfect unconditional love and compassion for everybody in the world, but that's something we can achieve in the future. And we can at least aspire to that at this point in time. Okay, so now let's start the body scan. So what I'm going to do is mention different parts of the body, starting with the top of the head, going down to the toes and fingertips. So just as I mention the different parts of the body, put your awareness there at that point. Just try to notice if there's any tension, tightness in that area. And if there is, see if you can release it, let it go. So first feel the very top of your head. See if you can notice any sensations there, like tingling or heat or coolness, tightness or softness. And see if there's any tension there. And if there is, see if you can let it go. You can imagine it melting and flowing down and disappearing in the earth beneath us, or just evaporating into space. So however you want to do it, just try to let go of the tension let it dissolve and disappear. And next, feel your forehead and do the same. So try to have your forehead smooth and free of tension, free of worry lines or worry wrinkles, which we sometimes have in our forehead if we're feeling worried or anxious. Again, let go of any tension in your forehead. And then feel your eyes. Let your eyes relax. There are muscles around the eyes and behind the eyes. So let those muscles relax. Let your eyes become soft, relaxed. And next, feel the other parts of your face, your cheeks, your mouth. And again, let go of any tension. Let your whole face become smooth and relaxed and free of tension. If you like, you can continue having a smile on your mouth, your lips, and doing that can actually help your mind to be more relaxed. So just that movement of smiling can have an effect on our mind and help our mind feel more happy, more relaxed. And then feel the right side of your head. Relax any tension you may have there. And then the back of your head. And then the left side of the head. And then go inside of your head. See if you notice any sensations on the inside of your head. And again, that's an area where we can sometimes have tension. So if you do notice any tension, see if you can let it go. Imagine it melting and flowing away or evaporating and disappearing in space. So try to have the whole of your head, both the outside and the inside, as relaxed as possible. But don't worry if you aren't able to let go of all the tension, if there's still some remaining bits of tension somewhere that won't go away. That's okay. You can't force them to go away. Just leave them there, just accept them, and just feel that I did the best that I could, and that's okay. Next, move your awareness down into the neck and throat, and relax any tension in those areas. And then the upper part of the back, the shoulder blades and shoulder muscles. So try to loosen or release or let go of any tension in that area. So let the whole upper part of your back be as relaxed as possible. And then continue to let the awareness travel down through your back, relaxing, releasing any tension. So do the middle part of your back. And then the lower part of the back. All the way down to your seat. Feel the pressure of your seat, your buttocks against the chair or cushion that you're sitting on. But let that area be relaxed. Let go of any tension. Try to have the whole of your back be as relaxed as possible. And then switch your awareness to the front part of your body, starting with your chest. So feel your chest, both the outside and also the inside, where we have our lungs and our heart. So if there's any tension in that area, see if you can release it, relax it, let it go. And let the awareness continue moving down through the front part of your body. Relax the area around the diaphragm, including the organs and muscles inside. And while we're in this area, you can become aware of your breathing and try to make sure your breathing is a natural rhythm. Don't forget to breathe. Don't let your breath stop. So just let the body continue breathing in and out. And then that itself can help us to be more relaxed. If we let our body breathe in a natural way, in a deep way, in a relaxed way, that can help to ease tension and bring about greater relaxation. So be aware of your abdomen now. And if we're breathing in the best way, in the right way, there should be some movement of the abdomen in and out with the breath. So don't force that to happen, but just try to allow it to happen. And if there's any tension in that area around the abdomen, all the internal organs, imagine it melting. You can imagine it dissolving and flowing out of your body, draining out of you, sinking into the earth, or just evaporating and disappearing in space. So do whatever you can to be able to let go of tension. Now let the awareness move down further in the pelvic area, the hips. And again, let go of any tension in that area. move your awareness down into your right leg, first the upper part of the leg, the thigh, to let that area relax. And then relax your right knee. And then the lower part of the right leg. And the ankle and foot, all the way down to the toes. So try to let your whole right leg, all the way down to the toes, be as relaxed as possible. And then shift your awareness to the left leg, starting with the upper part, the thigh. So relax your left thigh. And then the knee. And then the lower part of the leg, the calf. And the ankle. And then the right and left foot and toes. So try to let the whole of the left leg be relaxed and free of tension as much as possible. Now do the right arm. So bring your awareness to the upper part of the right arm, just below the shoulder, and relax that area. And then the right elbow, the lower part of the arm. And then the wrist and hand and fingers. So try to have the whole of your right arm from the shoulder to the fingertips as relaxed as possible. And then move your awareness to the left arm, starting with the upper part. Relax the upper part of your arm, then the elbow, and the lower part of the arm. Then the wrist, hand, and fingers. So we've gone through the whole body in a brief way and tried to relax as much tension as possible. So try to keep your body as tension-free as you can for the rest of the time that we're meditating. And continue to let the breath flow in and out in a natural way. Don't control your breath or regulate or manage your breath. Try to let go of that tendency and just allow the body to breathe. Sometimes the breath might be a little longer, sometimes shorter. That's normal. And we're going to use the breath as the object of our meditation, focusing on the breath, which means just being aware of the sensations as the breath is flowing in and flowing out of your body. So there's different ways you can do that, and you can choose your own way. So some people observe the movement at the abdomen, the movement in and out with each breath. Another place is the nostrils, where you can feel sensations as the air is coming in and going out of the nostrils. Or you could feel the chest rising and falling or going in and out. So those are some suggestions, but you can find your own way wherever you feel the breath most easily, naturally. So the important thing is to try to stay with the breath. Each inhalation and each exhalation of the breath, one breath after another. And if you're new to this practice, it can be helpful to count your breaths. And one way of doing that is just say to yourself, breathing in, breathing out, 1, breathing in, breathing out, 2, and continue counting up to 5, and then start again at 1. You keep counting in rounds of 5 breaths. Or if you want, you can go up to 10 breaths. So that's just an aid, a help to be able to stay focused on the breath, but it's optional. You don't have to do that. The most important thing is staying with the breath, and then whenever the mind wanders away, when you notice you're thinking about something from the past or planning something in the future or whatever, there's zillions of different kinds of thoughts that can come up in our mind, and our mind gets carried away with those. So as soon as you notice your mind has gotten carried away with a thought, then let it go, put it aside, and come back to the breath. Try to maintain an attitude of kindness and friendliness, gentleness towards yourself. That means try not to get impatient or frustrated with yourself or with your mind if it keeps wandering away. And also, it's helpful to understand that whatever happens in our mind, whatever thought or memory or emotion, feeling, is something that is impermanent. It's transitory. It just comes and goes. It appears, it disappears. It's not something permanent. It can be compared to clouds in the sky. Just like clouds go through the sky and disappear, thoughts come and go in our mind and then disappear. And we don't have to worry about them or take them so seriously. They can't harm us. They're just things that pop up in our mind and then disappear from our mind. So just notice the thoughts, the memories, the emotions. Just let them come, let them go, and just keep coming back to the breath. So use the breath as a kind of anchor to keep yourself here and now, in the present moment and present place. So we just have a few more minutes of the meditation. Try to spend this last few minutes focusing as much as you can on the breath, bringing the mind back whenever it wanders away, whenever it gets caught up in any thought. So just let go of the thought or the memory of the feeling. Come back to the breath. Any questions, comments, problems, complaints? Anyone want to say anything? So I'll just give an introduction to this second meditation that we're going to be doing. So it's similar to the one we did last week. If some of you were here last week. Last week we we did a visualization meditation on Tara. There's this represented by the statue in the corner. It's a Buddha, female Buddha, Lady Buddha. Um, Tonight we'll do a meditation on another Buddha figure named, in Tibetan, the name is Chenrezig. And some people are more familiar with the Sanskrit name, which is Avalokiteshvara, but that's a rather long name. So it's not as simple as Tara. And then in Chinese, the name is Kuan Yin. And this particular deity is probably the most popular one in those traditions, in Tibetan Buddhism, also in Chinese Buddhism, Japanese Buddhism. We don't have a statue of, well, there's different versions of Chenrezig. If you look at to the right of the Buddha, there's a statue, smaller, white and gold kind of colored. So that's one version of Chenrezig. That one is a rather complicated version with lots of faces and lots of arms. So we're not going to do that one tonight. Instead, to the left of the Buddha, the painting on the wall, Tanka, that's a painting of Chenrezig. That one, yeah, with four arms and one face. So there's actually many different versions of Chenrezig. In Chinese Buddhism, I lived in Singapore for many years, so I got to know a bit more about Chinese Buddhism. And I remember seeing a poster once with 108 different versions, different manifestations of Chenrezig, Avalokiteshvara. But the one that's probably most popular in Chinese Buddhism is Kuan Yin, the female form of, it's a lady form, which doesn't seem to be existing in the Tibetan tradition. But she's very, very beautiful. You may have seen pictures or statues of Kuan Yin. She looks a bit like Mary, the Catholic mother of Jesus and object of devotion for many people. So she looks a bit like that. She has long kind of robes and very sweet smiling face. But anyway, in the Tibetan tradition, this is the most common form, this one to the left of the Buddha. So we'll do that one tonight. So Chenrezig, or Avalokiteshvara, is said to be the Buddha of compassion. So that's his kind of special feature, special function is he embodies compassion. And the main reason for visualizing and doing this practice of Chenrezig is to help develop our own compassion, because we do have compassion. Compassion is something that's just a natural quality in everybody's minds. It's awakened, for example, when we see or hear of people or beings who are suffering. When we see a little child who is crying, who looks like they're hurt, in pain, frightened, hungry, or whatever, or a little animal, little puppy or kitten or little bird that seems to be, troubled, frightened, hungry, or whatever, then we feel something inside in our heart. We feel moved, we feel touched, we want to help, we want to do something to relieve the suffering of that other person or that other being. That's the feeling of compassion. It's when we become aware of suffering in another person or in other people, and that touches us. We're touched by that. We don't feel like cold and uncaring and indifferent, but instead we feel something here. We're touched by that suffering, and we want it to be relieved. We want it to end. We want it to stop. We don't want that other person or being to suffer. So that's the feeling of compassion. And compassion is a really important quality. I think it's important in all spiritual traditions. All spiritual traditions and religions have some idea of compassion, the importance of compassion. In Buddhism, it's very, very important. It's necessary if we want to become a Buddha, if we want to become enlightened. This is one of the most important qualities, because the whole reason for becoming enlightened is to be able to help others. We don't become enlightened just because we want to have that wonderful experience all for ourselves. We want to be this great, wonderful, enlightened being and enjoy enlightenment just for ourselves. That's not the right motivation. The motivation should be, I want to help others. I want to benefit others. I want to benefit the world. I want to relieve suffering. So it's the main motivation, the main driving force for the path to enlightenment, becoming a Buddha and enlightened being. So although we have compassion already, something like a natural quality, but we need to develop it more and more and more so that we can feel it for everybody, for all beings everywhere. So meditating on Chenrezig is one method. There's other methods for developing compassion, but this is one method. So what we're going to do, I'll just briefly explain and then we'll have a break. We'll visualize Chenrezig, so I'll describe the visualization. And some of you were not here last week, so I'll just talk a little bit about visualization. So when we visualize, we are like creating an image in our mind. And this is used a lot in the Tibetan tradition. And it can be done in different ways. Sometimes you visualize things inside of yourself, like in your heart chakra, or you visualize things outside of yourself. So in this case, we'll be visualizing Chenrezig outside of ourselves, like in front of us and facing us. So it's as though he's there in the space in front of us. And the visualization should be thought of as made of light, not like something solid, or not like our bodies made of flesh and bones and blood and cells and so on, but just like pure light. And that can be a little hard because we don't have too many examples in real life of that kind of thing. But probably the closest thing would be a rainbow. When we see a rainbow in the sky, it's just light. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but there's actually nothing there, nothing solid there, right? It's just an appearance because of the sunlight and then drops of moisture in the air. So it's just this appearance of the rainbow, but nothing really solid is there. But sometimes it can be so bright, like really, really, really bright. It almost looks solid. You look like you just take hold of it and cut off a piece of it and take it home with you. But that's not possible. So anyway, if you think of a rainbow, when you've seen a rainbow in the sky, then that could help to get a sense of what it means to visualize. So we just try to imagine this figure made of light, totally transparent, not solid, and also three-dimensional, not like these are paintings, so they're like flat, two-dimensional. But ideally it should be three-dimensional, like the statues. And also not like a statue. A statue is made of metal, but we try to visualize these deities as real living beings, like us. Yeah, like a real person there. And then what I really like to do is just to, try to get a sense of what is in the mind of that being. Like when Chenrezig is a Buddha, and like I mentioned at the beginning, a Buddha is someone who has this complete, total, unconditional love and compassion for every being in the universe, and that includes us. And I find it helpful to think about that because we all want to be loved. We all feel the need, the wish for love, to feel loved. And that drives a lot of our actions, trying to find love, trying to find people to love us. So with Chenrezig, with the other Buddhas, we don't have to try to get them to love us. They do love us. They have this just constant, continuous love and compassion for us, no matter what we do. So even if we make mistakes, even if we do stupid things or we have faults or whatever, they don't stop loving us. So we don't have to worry about behaving in a certain way, performing in a certain way in order to deserve their love. It's unconditional love. Just because we're here, just because we exist, they love us, they care for us. And also, the love they have for us isn't like romantic love, but it's love in the sense that they want us to um, actualize our potential. They can see that we have the potential to be free of our suffering and our problems and our confusion and become enlightened beings ourselves, just like them. And that's what they want to help us to achieve. They want us to transcend, to go beyond our present unenlightened state and reach the state of enlightenment, because they know that's the best thing that we can do. It's the most wonderful experience that we can have. So they're completely dedicated to being there and helping us until we do reach that state of enlightenment ourselves, that we become Buddhas. So I'll talk about that in the meditation and just give you some time to think about that and contemplate that and try to get a feeling for that. And then, like last week, when we visualized Tara, and then we made a prayer. I let you make up your own prayer, whatever it is you want to ask help for. So your personal needs, your personal problems, whatever. Make a prayer to Chenrezig, but it's good to think in particular of asking for help to develop your compassion and your love, your good qualities, positive qualities. And then imagining light coming from Chenrezig and flowing into us and being like an internal shower, just totally filling our bodies, not just the outside, but the inside as well, filling our bodies and minds and sort of clearing away, washing away, eliminating whatever negative energy we have, whatever problems we have. So imagine that just going out of us, just getting washed out. And while doing that, we can also recite the mantra of Chenrezig, which is probably the most famous of all mantras, the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. Have you heard of that before? So we'll recite that together for a while. And also, um, before we even visualize Chenrezig, I'll ask you to think about other beings, because again, the whole purpose of doing this meditation is generating our compassion. And compassion mainly refers to thinking of others. Of course, we need to have compassion for ourselves, but going beyond just me and thinking about others who are suffering and generating this feeling of compassion for them, understanding that they are suffering and they don't want to suffer, they want to be free of suffering, and then trying to generate the wish that we can help them be free of suffering. So we'll include that in the meditation as well, imagining other beings around us who are suffering. And while we do the meditation on Chenrezig, we imagine they're doing the meditation with us, and they're also getting the light, the purifying light from Chenrezig flowing into them. So that's just a brief introduction to what we're going to be doing, but let's have a break now, and we'll do the meditation afterwards. So if you're new here, we have tea and coffee upstairs and snacks if you're hungry. We made some adjustments to the microphone. It's not so loud, is it? So I think microphone sticking out. How's that? How's that? Is that okay? Not so loud. Is that better? Okay, let's go with that. Okay, so we'll do the practice of the meditation on Avalokiteshvara or Chenrezig. So start by sitting comfortably. And remember the motivation we had at the beginning of the class tonight. Try to regenerate, renew that state of mind, thinking that we're here, we're doing this meditation not only for our own benefit, but for the benefit of others. If you're comfortable with the idea of the whole world, of all living beings, then you can think of that. If that seems too much, if it's too difficult to think of all living beings, then just think of as many as you can, as many that you're comfortable with. You can think of your own friends and family, people you know, people you care about. And to make that feeling more real, more genuine, let's see if we can imagine that other people and other beings are here with us, sitting around us. I mean, we're already a group of people, so we're not all by ourselves, but we're sitting with other people around us. But imagine even more people sitting around us. You can think of your friends and family, people you care about. Imagine them sitting around you. Feel the wish to do something that will be helpful for them, help them have more peace and happiness and less unhappiness and troubles, problems. And it's also good to think of others who are really suffering right now. So that could include people who are in a place where there's war going on, for example, Iraq or Syria, whose homes have been destroyed or damaged, who may be having difficulty finding the basic necessities of life, food and clean water, shelter, who may have lost family members, loved ones, who are afraid of their own lives, afraid of the future, where they're going to go, where they're going to live, and so on. So that's just some examples, but you can think of your own ideas of people who are really in desperate situations right now, really suffering. So imagine people like that sitting around us. Try to really get a sense of their suffering. And try to feel the wish that they could be free of their suffering. Their problems and their worries and their pain, their difficulties could be solved, and they could achieve whatever they need in order to be peaceful and happy and free of those sufferings. Try to feel how wonderful that would be. So, in reality, everybody has their own share of suffering. Not only those who are living in a place where there's a war going on, or there's hunger, starvation, or poverty. So, those are really obvious kinds of sufferings. But even people living in comfortable situations where there's peace and there's plenty of food to eat and they have everything they need, and maybe they even have more than they need. Maybe they have millions of dollars or billions of dollars or big houses and nice cars and so on. So people like that, they have suffering too. They still have bodies that get sick, get old, and have to go for operations and so on. They have minds that get unhappy, worried, depressed. They have problems in their relationships with each other. So everyone, every person, every living being has some kind of suffering, some kind of problems. And just as we do not want suffering, don't want any physical pain or difficulties, and we don't want mental, emotional, psychological pain or difficulties, the same is true for them as well. We all feel the same way. We don't want to suffer. And now let's do the visualization of Avalokiteshvara or Chenrezig. So imagine he appears in the space in front of us at about the level of your forehead and a meter or 2 meters away from you, whatever is more comfortable. And remember, the whole visualization is of light, like a rainbow. So it appears and it's bright, radiant, but it's not solid, not like our bodies, not like, solid things, but just pure, transparent light. So Chenrezig is sitting with his legs crossed in the full lotus position, and his body is made of white light, completely white, pure, radiant white light. And he's sitting on a lotus. So it's a lotus flower with the petals spread out flat. And above the lotus is a flat disk of light that represents the moon. So that forms the seat on which Chenrezig is sitting. And he has four arms. So the first two are in front of his chest. Those two hands are held together, like in the prayer position. And he holds in those two hands a precious jewel, a wish-fulfilling jewel. Very beautiful. And that represents his mind of compassion and love, bodhicitta. That is, this complete dedication to helping every living being and wanting to take care of them and help them all the way until they become enlightened. So that state of mind, that attitude is represented by this precious wish-fulfilling jewel he's holding in his hands. And then on his right side, his other right hand is held up in the air, and that hand holds a crystal rosary. So prayer beads, a rosary made of crystal. And his other left hand is also held up in the air, and that hand holds a white lotus. So the lotus flower is a symbol of purity because it grows in the mud, but when it rises above the mud and opens up, it's totally pure, totally clear, clean, not stained by the mud. So it's a symbol of the enlightened mind. And Chenrezig is wearing very beautiful clothing, kind of like a prince of ancient India, very soft and light, colorful silken clothes sort of draped around him. And his face is very peaceful and smiling. It shows an expression of pure, unconditional love and compassion, gentleness, kindness. So you can imagine that he's looking at you with this expression. So it's like he's looking right at you with the expression of love and compassion, as if he is saying to you, I accept you just as you are. I have no anger, aversion, irritation, judgmentalness, criticalness towards you. I forgive you for all your mistakes, all your faults. I don't judge you for those. So I just accept you just as you are, and I have nothing but love and compassion for you. I'm completely dedicated to being here to help you and guide you, protect you in whatever way you need. And I will always be here. I will never abandon you until you yourself have become enlightened, an awakened being, a Buddha. So it's good to spend a few moments contemplating that state of mind that Chenrezig has towards you, but towards all other living beings. That's the way that Chenrezig feels towards everybody, every living being without exception. So even if it's difficult to visualize Chenrezig, don't worry about that. The most important thing is trying to feel the presence of Chenrezig in front of us. Feel that we are in the presence of someone who has this pure, unconditional love and compassion for ourselves, each one of us, and all other living beings. And now make a prayer from your heart using your own thoughts, your own words, asking for help for whatever you feel you need help for, dealing with certain problems, overcoming obstacles, figuring out some difficult situation that you are in, whatever it is you need help with. So ask for help. It could also be help to develop yourself, develop your own mind, develop more compassion and love, more wisdom, courage, and so on. So just really ask for from your heart for Chenrezig's help in whatever way you need help. And imagine that in response to your request, your prayer, light flows from Chenrezig's heart like a stream of pure, radiant white light. Imagine it flowing into you and completely filling your whole body, all the way down to your toes, to your fingertips, all the way up to the top of your head. And filling every part of your body down to the tiniest particles, cells, molecules, atoms. So imagine your whole body getting suffused with this light, similar to the way water soaks into a sponge and completely saturates the sponge. Imagine you become saturated with this pure, radiant white light, which represents Chenrezig's wisdom, compassion, all his realizations, all his good qualities. Let yourself be filled up with this energy. And imagine that it purifies you of whatever negative energy you may have, whatever obstacles, problems, including sickness, pain, bad karma, negative attitudes. So all the problematic, harmful parts of you, your body, your mind. Imagine those getting purified, and you can imagine them getting washed out of you. All the negative energy goes out of us. You can imagine it going out in the form of dirty liquid or whatever form you want to visualize. Imagine it going out and you become free of it. You can imagine it sinking down into the earth and disappearing there. And it's no longer there. It's no longer part of you, no longer a problem, an obstacle for you. And if you can, imagine the same thing is happening with all the other beings around us. Imagine light is flowing from Chenrezig into each and every one of them. They are also getting filled up with this light. And being purified, cleansed, freed of all their problems, physical problems, mental, emotional, psychological problems, obstacles, whatever problematic, negative parts of them are also getting washed out and purified. So, while continuing to do this visualization, if you wish, you can recite with me the mantra of Chenrezig, Om Mani Padme Hum. So this is also, the mantra itself is an expression of compassion, Chenrezig's compassion and wisdom in the form of this mantra, these sounds, these syllables. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. So try to really feel that your whole body, your whole mind are filled with this light, this pure radiant light from Chenrezig. And you can imagine your body becoming like crystal, completely clear, pure, transparent. And imagine your mind becoming completely pure as well, calm and clear, free of disturbances, like the sky free of clouds. And imagine the same happening with all the other beings around you. Imagine they also become completely clear. Their body is clear and pure like crystal, and their mind's calm, clear, free of disturbances like the completely cloudless sky. And try to have the feeling that this is our real nature. We are getting in touch with our real nature, our true nature, how we really are. Because the disturbing thoughts and emotions, confusion, anger, unhappiness, anxiety, fear, and so on, all those things are not our real nature. And those are like temporary obscurations or stains. They're not who we really are, and we can become free of those. So imagine that that has happened now. We are free of all of those things. We are in touch with our real nature. Now imagine that the image of Chenrezig you visualized in front of you completely dissolves into light, like melts into just a mass of pure, radiant white light. And then that flows into you, absorbs into you, becoming one with you, one with your mind. And now to conclude the practice and also everything else we've done here tonight, let's make a dedication, dedicating the positive energy we have generated by coming together, generating a positive wish to benefit others, and doing these different meditations. So we've created some good energy here tonight. So let's mentally share that energy with others, with all other people, all other beings, with the wish that it will bring peace and happiness, freedom from suffering and the causes of suffering to all living beings. And may it help all of us get closer to enlightenment, which is our real nature, the fulfillment of our real potential. So we just have a few minutes left of the class, and a nice way to end is to just get together with one other person and share something you learned here tonight or something you experienced here tonight that you feel is useful and beneficial and that you would like to take home with you and like keep using in your life, making part of your life. So do that just for 5 minutes. So, does anyone have any question before we finish?
I wanted to know if you're using Kuan Yin, is it the same mantra as Om Mani Padme Hum? Is it always?
I think so.
Okay. Also, whether it's the thousand arm Chenrezig or the forearm, it's always
well, there are other mantras, like the thousand arm Chenrezig does have another mantra which is very, very long.
Okay.
Very, 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 very long. And there's even a longer one in the Chinese tradition that the Chinese recite, and it's also related to Kuan Yin, but it's super, 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 super long. So there are different mantras, but the Om Mani Padme Hum is nice, short and sweet. So.
How does that?
So that's Namo means like homage. So it's like a prayer, homage to Quan Shi Yin. Pusa is Bodhisattva. That's in Chinese. You can probably go online. You can probably go to Google, not Google, YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And you can find all of these different mantras. There's, different people and groups singing them, chanting them. So you can hear them recited, and maybe you can even find them written if you want them. So.
But I mean, the main question I had was if it was okay, if Om Mani Padme Hum, if you could use that for Kuan Yin.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, Thomas.
What does the crystal rosary symbolize?
I think just, the importance of reciting the mantra. Don't forget to do your mantras. And I guess crystal, because crystal is clear and pure, so we can think of it as representing the clear and pure nature of the mind. And reciting the mantra will help us to purify our mind and get more in touch with that pure nature of the mind. Gabby?
Can you please explain us the meaning of the mantra?
Oh, yeah. So, Om Mani Padme Hum. Yeah. So when explaining a mantra, it's not so much that the importance is what the words mean, but more what they symbolize. So like Om is usually at the beginning of most mantras, and it doesn't really have a meaning, but they say that it symbolizes the enlightened mind that we're trying to achieve, the enlightened state of mind. And then Mani actually means jewel. Mani is the word for jewel in Sanskrit. But here it doesn't just mean an ordinary jewel, it actually refers to compassion. Like Chenrezig is holding this jewel in his hands, and that represents his compassion, his love, his dedication to all living beings. So Mani represents that, compassion and love. And then Padme, Om Mani Padme Hum. Padme is the word for lotus. Padme means lotus. But again, here it doesn't just mean an ordinary lotus flower, but the lotus is a symbol of wisdom, the wisdom that, like the lotus, they say the lotus rises up from the muddy, muddy pond. And even though it comes out of the mud, when it opens up, it's completely pure. There's no mud, no stains on it. They say it's similar with the wisdom of a Buddha or Bodhisattva. They're in the world, part of the world, which is kind of like muddy. But they open up this pure mind of wisdom, and it's completely unstained. So Padme represents wisdom. And then Hum at the end, again, it doesn't really have a meaning, but it's has the sense of, may the meaning of the mantra become part of my mind. So altogether, we can say that the meaning of the mantra is, may I develop compassion and wisdom, and may they become part of my mind, and may my mind become enlightened mind. So it sort of contains the most important aspects of the path, the compassion and the wisdom, like the two sides, they say the two wings of a bird that we need to be able to fly to enlightenment. So method and compassion, wisdom and compassion. So that's, yeah. I mean, I've seen in some books or some places they say that the meaning of the mantra is "Hail to the jewel in the lotus," something like that. But that's not really a very good translation. I mean, because Mani and Padme mean, jewel and lotus, but they, we have to understand the deeper meaning. The real meaning is compassion and wisdom. So that's the way it's explained by the Dalai Lama. It's in the book. So the meditation that we did tonight is in this book, if you have it. It's right after the meditation on Tara. So it's page 155. And it also explains the meaning of the mantra in there. Okay. So this is our last class for this period of time. For the summer, we'll be closed over the summer in July, and then in August we'll start again. Late August we'll start again, but not here. We'll be in the Karma Kargyu Center. So I don't know the exact address, but you can find it on the website and Facebook and so on, and the new schedule, the new program that we'll be having. Just keep in touch. Thank you. Good night.